I'm Kevin O'Connor. I work with a team at this old house that rebuilds old homes. I'm on a trip to meet another team. Most of them spent years volunteering to serve their country. Now, they volunteer to rebuild lives. When people run away from disaster, these are the men and women who run towards it. Their mission is to help the neediest. They call themselves Team Rubicon. Team Rubicon has a lot of sayings and mantras.
ROE,
MCC,
SITREP,
JIC,
DEMO,
But the one I hear the most is GSD, or Get Shit Done.
GSD.
GSD, right? Get shit done.
Get shit done.
Get shit done.
get out and get some shit done.
And nobody embodies that more than Army veteran Alice Tucker.
Work ethic comes from beginning to end. My father was a very hard worker. My dad didn't think that you were going to be a hard worker. My father demanded you were going to be a hard worker.
Here in Selma, Alice is on one of the many Sawyer crews addressing hundreds of downed trees.
You see that a lot. With hurricanes, it'll top them going across. But with tornadoes, what happens is the spin takes the tree and just twists it.
Today's mission has Alice and her team working at the home of Selma native Mr. Green.
He's always been an outstanding member of his community.
Mr. Green's community ties run deep, dating back to that infamous day in March of 1965, Bloody Sunday, when 600 civil rights demonstrators were beaten crossing the Edmund Pettus Bridge. Mr. Green's neighbor enlisted him to be a makeshift ambulance driver to help the injured get to the hospital. Today, nearly 60 years later, the city was hit with more violence, this time at the hands of Mother Nature.
I ain't never seen Selma like this.
Before the tornado touched down, Mr. Green and his wife heard several sirens while in their living room.
Well, when the last one went off, they was already here.
Suddenly, they felt something hit the house, but didn't hear what caused it. Once the tornado passed, they discovered the massive tree.
This was a double tree. It was not just a single tree, and both of them hit the house. And really, the thing that saved the house the most was a blue minivan. The roof has been breached. That's not the most important. He's been on a generator for 4 days now, I believe, and the power company will not put power onto the side of the house because the tree was laying on where the power comes in.
It's Mr. Green's turn to get some help. Undaunted by her fear of heights, Alice revved up her saw and got to work.
I didn't realize that I was afraid of heights when I was younger, and then later I realized that I really was afraid of heights. Over the years, I've gotten better and better.
With her sawyering experience, Alice took charge and began to surgically cut up the tree.
It needs certain kind of saws, and we need some people who know how to handle technical cuts. It's pretty rough. A lot of safety concerns. You have to be careful, eyes in the back of your head, and watch out for everybody's six, yours included.
In a short time, she turned the tree into firewood.
Well, what I'm happiest about is dropping everything so gently and being able to take it off the roof without putting any more damage on the roof. When you can do that, it's a good day. Nobody got hurt. It's a good day.
I'm thankful for you guys and everything y'all did.
Hey, man.
Yes, Mr. Green?
Hey, I appreciate y'all.
Happy to do it.
I have a heart to serve, and this is what we do. Why we do what we do is to be able to take care of people like this who can't take care of themselves.
At the end of the day, Alice gets some well-deserved recognition from one of her fellow gray shirts.
I need to recognize my rock star. She got up on a pitch roof and worked a pole saw, which is not easy, and I'm really proud of you. Thank you for being here with me. I love poker chips. I write something on them always, so this one says badass pole saw.
That's Alice, taking care of people and getting shit done. Every year, an average of 1,200 tornadoes are reported across the country. But unlike hurricanes that are easily tracked for weeks, tornadoes are still difficult to predict, leaving those in their path with mere minutes to take shelter.
Didn't really have much warning at all.
It sounded like an 18-wheeler coming through the house. For a second, I thought we was gonna die.
Saw all kinds of debris and everything just flying around, and it just looked like somebody just dropped a bomb.
I met with Eric Fisher, chief meteorologist at WBZ News, to learn more about why tornadoes are so unpredictable.
Up to a point, tornadoes are predictable. Even a couple of weeks out, we might look at the overall pattern that's taking shape and say, this looks to be an active period. But you can't say much more than that. A lot of other storms, you could choose to leave. You could not be in the area, and you usually know about them a day or two, at least in advance. A tornado, you're probably not going to do that, because at the end of the day, even if there's a tornado watch or a severe weather outlook for your area, are you gonna leave the state for that? Because you're gonna get a lot of them if you live in the Midwest and the South in particular. So it really is the perfect storm of little warning and a really violent act of nature.
I met with Eric Fisher, chief meteorologist at WBZ News, to learn more about why tornadoes are so unpredictable. So how do tornadoes form?
Tornadoes, it's still a little bit of a mystery as to why some thunderstorms produce tornadoes and some do not. But at the heart of it, you need instability. You want air to rise. If air has to be rising, and it has to be rising at a fast clip. And you also need vorticity, or some twist in the atmosphere, something we would call wind shear. And the way you tilt that spinning column of air is an updraft, which you can feel if you stand outside in a thunderstorm, that wind that's starting to get sucked into a storm, the warm, moist air. If that can tilt that spinning air upwards, then we're gonna end up seeing a tornado.
Tornadoes are rated 1 to 5 on the EF scale.
Let's go to the F first. The F is very important. Fujita, Dr. Ted Fujita, is the person who came up with this in the first place. And he introduced it in 1971 as a way to survey tornadoes, and it's based on damage. The E is enhanced. So they basically took his work and then made an enhanced version of it where there's 28 different damage points that they look at.
What's an EF1 roughly in terms of wind intensity?
In terms of wind intensity, you're gonna see some significant damage. It's not going to completely level foundations. It's not going to completely rip homes apart, but it is gonna create a path of destruction along with it, and that can be life-changing. Once you climb the scale, and now you start talking about wind speeds that are over 166 miles per hour, your violent tornadoes, now you're wiping foundations clean, areas are unrecognizable, trees are stripped.
And is it just the wind that a tornado brings, or are there other things?
Yeah, I mean, the tornado is basically a symptom of the storm, if you will, the supercell thunderstorm. So those are generally gonna bring heavy rainfall. They could bring the tornado. They could bring very large hail, maybe baseball or even up to softball size hail. And hail kind of gets, pushed aside a little bit, but in its own right, extremely damaging. Any farmer in the Midwest will tell you, you get a bad hailstorm, that can ruin your year. Car dealerships as well, or just your home. Your roof could be wrecked by some of that large hail.
Hail causes an average of $20 billion of damage annually to homes, cars, and crops, which means that this is something that the insurance industry takes seriously. I visited the Insurance Institute for Business and Home Safety in Richburg, South Carolina, where they have the only active field research team dedicated to studying hailstorms.
We have been out in the field measuring and cataloging hail for more than a decade.
16.1.
I got a couple out here for you to look at.
Oh, cool.
Right, you got your nice small hail. All of these have been 3D printed.
So, I'm sorry, you say small hail. I think of that as big hail.
Oh, I know, right?
I'm thinking of pea-sized stuff.
That's like a ½ inch. Each one of these has been 3D printed based on a real hailstone that has been collected in the field.
Wow.
This one is the largest one that was recorded in the United States. That one fell in Vivian, South Dakota.
That's insane.
This
came shooting
terrible.
out of the sky.
Oh, I know. This is like lethal hail. Most of the hail that falls is more on this side of the spectrum.
They not only catalog the hail, but they also create their own hail in-house to test on building materials.
Oh, look at that, huh?
Yep, that's a 2-inch hailstone.
Yep.
little like 65, 67 grams, and this is what we're gonna fire at different building materials.
So a 2-inch hailstone, 60+ grams, 70 miles an hour, that packs a punch.
It does. Severe hail is 1 inch or greater.
Gotcha.
And severe hail is gonna fall at highway speeds.
So when you do one of these hail tests, how many of these balls are you shooting at the structure?
So when we do a big test in the test chamber, we're using over 900 individual stones.
Wow.
Yeah.
After hitting a home with 900 hailstones, what they found is the best way to minimize damage to your home and protect it from further damage is to install impact-resistant shingles and park your car in the garage. Team Rubicon crews continue to clean up in Selma, including at the home of Bobby Mitchell, who has lived here all his life. Bobby and his wife were inside their home when the tornado came through.
We're sitting in there watching TV, and I came outside. It was real dark and stuff. Then when I went back inside, I heard some hail, I think it was. Then all of a sudden, me and my wife were sitting there with the house started shaking, and it scared me. So when it did quiet down, I come outside and found all these trees and stuff over the house. We have been hit pretty hard. A lot of people could have got killed, and man, it looked bad through here. You know, it looked really bad.
Several trees on Bobby's property were uprooted or twisted apart by the tornado. One landing between his house and his neighbor's house.
Look how big that old roof ball there is. It got my car jacked all up. It looked like it been destroyed by bombs.
With Bobby's car resting on the roof ball and the tree spanning across 2 roofs, the skills of the Sawyer crew will be put to the test today. Bob McKay, the strike team leader, planned their approach.
Once we get that far, we can cut the trunk loose.
Which will include the help of a special piece of equipment known as a CTL.
CTL is a compact track loader. It's just like a skid steer, but it has tracks on it.
In situations like this, where a large, heavy tree needs to be cut and moved in pieces to the curb, heavy equipment like a CTL becomes invaluable.
It saves us so much time. I mean, it's like, you know, having 20 gray shirts.
The team gets to work.
Hot saw!
The team focuses on releasing weight from the top of the tree.
You know, we eat the elephant one bite at a time and hopefully get the tree back upright. That's the plan.
As the team methodically makes their way through the tree, Bobby stands by, eager to see if the plan will work.
You never cut a tree down. I know in my heart that they know what they do.
Being on the roof, I think we can get better cuts and with less hazard for the people on the ground. They're going to be pretty big cuts, and I think the only place to cut from is the roof. There's certain sections of the roof that have been compromised by a lot of weight. We'll have to stay off of those.
He's getting ready to support the tree, and they're going to cut some of the limbs off the top, and hopefully he can support the weight.
With the main branches removed, the only thing holding the massive trunk aloft is the CTL. It's a precarious moment because with so much weight removed from the top of the tree, the trunk could snap upright, taking the CTL along with it.
The CTL could lower it right now, but if they did, that would make the car angle increase more. And we need to go the other way. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut the trunk of this thing, cut the root ball free, and let that fall back down.
That was so nice, I'll tell you.
That was exciting as heck. It never gets old, does it? It was a really safe drop. And did you see the stump stand back up?
The tree did exactly what Bob and his team hoped it would do. It released without damaging the homes and brought the car back down to the ground without crushing it.
You got to stand back up and everything, cut between these small houses, these two small areas, you know, it was amazing, you know. Y'all made me feel very happy. It's like Superman going to Gotham City and ran Batman up out of it because he couldn't do things Superman did, you know what I'm saying? And y'all did good. I'm coming really good.
We don't wear capes, we just wear gray shirts.
Yep, them gray shirts did the job, though.
Another tree down, but the work isn't over yet.
Sir, how are you?
James. Is this staying or going? The garage?
Oh, this is going.
Teams in Selma are in the home stretch of Operation 54 Miles. As it enters its 7th and final week of helping the community after an E12 tornado touched down earlier this year.
So, welcome to operational period number 49. This week is a wrap-up week for us. Like every day that we come out to Team Rubicon, we leave the world a little better at the end of the day than we found it in the morning, no matter what we're doing.
Team Rubicon has done a lot of good work here in Selma, making people's houses safe so that they can move back in and start the rebuilding process. But unfortunately, not every home can be rebuilt. One of the capabilities that Team Rubicon has is demolition, and it allows them to use their heavy equipment operators using excavators and compact track loaders to drop houses like these to the ground and then pull them to the curb so they can be hauled away.
By the end of the operation, TR will demo and clear 27 homes. This service lifts a major hurdle for a lot of homeowners struggling to figure out how to pay for rebuilding. Demolition alone would cost them $30,000, but Team Rubicon charges them nothing.
Oftentimes they say, well, what's this going to cost me? No, ma'am, it's not free. It's at no charge to you. It's a subtle difference there, but it's important because there is a cost. We have donors that pay for this, so it's not free, but it's at no charge to the homeowner. So we try and stress that. They're always so grateful. And, I mean, I've had people try and pay us, you know, buy lunch or no, we're fine. I mean, it's all at no charge.
Dan Grammersh is a retired engineer and my strike team leader today.
What was the career?
Manufacturing. We built heavy equipment, rotating equipment, big pumps.
Like many a gray shirt, Dan spent his first stop as a swamper.
And I remember, boy, that was a lot of hard work, swamping. I said, you know, at my age, I got to figure out another way to get around this thing.
So that got him thinking of other jobs at TR that would be a good fit for him.
A call went out for people with heavy equipment experience, and I said, well, I have some. My dad ended up buying some farmland in South Dakota, amassed about 1,000 acres. Between my brother and I, we kind of manage it.
Dan's been around heavy equipment for most of his life. But at TR, the training needed to operate heavy equipment wasn't as easy as he imagined.
After the first day, I called my wife and said, man, I feel like I'm in boot camp. These guys are in my face. I'm having to go through an obstacle course, got to stack logs up. I said, I don't know. This is a lot more intense than what I had envisioned. But after a day or two, I got pretty comfortable and kind of got back in the groove and ended up graduating from that as an HEO2.
Since graduating, Dan hasn't looked back, jumping in whenever and wherever heavy equipment operators are needed. In Florida, after Ian to clear roads. In California, to assist in tree removal from floods and in fire mitigation. And now, in Selma, helping with the demolition.
So first time actually working on a heavy equipment team. I've been around them on the site when we've either been mucking out or sorting and stuff like that, but never actually working with them. And I'm not gonna lie, they're kind of badass. They are, they call them force multipliers. And when they show up on a job site, everyone kind of gets excited because we're gonna get a ton of stuff done.
The first thing Dan teaches me is how to communicate with heavy equipment operators.
You're gonna be in front of me,
Yeah,
I'm gonna be looking at you. Let's go back.
Yeah.
If you want me to go back that way.
Okay.
If I need to raise the bucket, that's up, that's down.
Gotcha.
If you want me to curl the bucket back, that's curl back. Let's open it up. Grapple's open, grapple's closed.
Stop?
Oh, stop.
Just stop.
Yeah.
Got it.
Your main job as a spotter, just keep people out of the way.
Yeah.
All right?
Okay.
Today, our team is clearing the debris of a home TR demoed yesterday. The home was struck by a tree and red tagged, meaning it was deemed uninhabitable. Thankfully, James, the homeowner, was away when the tornado hit. But now, he's left with the task of demolishing the home.
We are very, very blessed for people like you all and other volunteers. We really are.
Would have been nicer to meet you under different circumstances.
Well, yeah.
How long have you been here?
Since 1950.
So you grew up in this town? 73 years in the family house here?
Well, I just want to get it cleaned off and hopefully sell it.
Sorry about your house.
Well, I appreciate it.
All right, James, take care.
So today was a pretty hectic day. We had 2 CTLs on the same property. And then later, the 70-yard grapple truck showed up. So there's a lot of moving pieces. We have walkie-talkies with each spotter and each CTL operator. So that's how we keep in communication. We don't cross the streams like they do in Ghostbusters, you know, stay in our lanes. Spotters are critical today, and especially, that was a big role Kevin had, to make sure we're staying in our lane and not running into each other. We filled up the 74-yard grapple truck 3 times. That's a lot of cubic feet we moved today.
I don't know how we can thank y'all. We really appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome, sir.
Y'all are a miracle in society.
Well, thank you, thank you. Yeah, it looks pretty good.
Take care.
Take care, sir. Good luck.
Back to work. Let's get this cleaned up.
All right.
There's been so much work for TR here in town. Taking trees off of houses and off of the roads, and then tarping so folks can get back into their house and start the rebuilding process. And then sadly, in some cases, taking homes down and clearing the lot, pushing it to the curb so it could be hauled away. A lot of hard work, but a lot of good work here in Selma.
This marks the end of Operation 54 Miles. As we close this chapter and reflect on all the people helped here in Selma, you begin to understand why gray shirts are drawn to deploy again and again. Because at the end of the day, there's always more work to be done and more people to help. My next stop is California, where the muck out after the floods is about to begin.